Salute.
What?
Cheers. Happy Tuesday. Is today Tuesday?
Today's Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
There we go. Oh, why are you guys here again?
Doing BMX shows, high schools.
That's cool.
Same story,
Yeah.
same story, different
Back
year.
again.
Different year,
Back
bro.
For
again.
real, though.
Different year.
Literally 1 year ago, it was like, I think it was almost the same, down to the same week of the month.
Yeah. Koji was with us last time.
It's actually insane to think a
Alright.
year has gone by.
It goes faster. The older you get, it goes by really, really fast.
I heard a theory on that, or it's not a theory, it's just like math and perception. Like when you're younger, turning 1 to 2 is literally half of your life. And then as you get older, that ratio gets smaller and smaller to where it's like, oh, that's just another year.
Yeah.
How old are you guys?
I'll be 50 this year.
Get the fuck out.
How crazy is that?
That's crazy,
Looking
dude.
this amazing
Yes,
with a
dude.
body like this at 50?
How do you do it?
It's cryogenics. No, it's probably the bike. It's riding bikes.
Cold
Having
plunges.
fun.
Meditation.
The loud helps.
Fuck yeah, weed is love.
I don't
bro.
I don't stress a lot either. I think that's a big thing for a lot of people. That
Yeah, it's kind of amazing your personality when you come. There's nothing wrong ever. you know,
just have
it's
fun.
great.
Life is. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have issues in my life.
I know, but you focus on the good.
Yeah, you got to surround yourself with good people.
I've been trying to read books to learn to do
Yeah,
that.
but
dude.
it's not easy to do. It's
No,
definitely
it's
not
not.
easy to do. I was just telling somebody today that a good way to live is, and maybe we touched on this the last time, where it's like if you have somebody in your life, somebody in your circle that's disrespected you or giving you a reason to not trust them, we're so quick as humans to forgive, and then you get burned again. Where a long time ago I realized it's like if you diss me or disrespect me or give me a reason to not trust you, you're gone and you're never coming back because
Yeah.
I've got 10 more people that I can surround myself instead of dwelling on your negativity. But
Hell yeah.
yeah, fuck those people.
What about like if a friend of yours has beef, do you inherit
Oh,
beef?
it's funny because I feel bad for most of my friends because I got more beef. I'm the guy with the beef. Everybody's friends with everybody and nobody knows how to react when we're in the same place. But it's funny. It's like
It's kind of like when there's like a child in a room of adults. Everyone knows there's a child, so you just kind of let it go.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean. I'm still smiling. That's what I'm saying.
A
I
50-year-old child.
I figured it out. You eliminate the stress, and then there's more time for activities.
And then you guys are gonna live a
That's-
long time, you know.
That's it.
What about you? Do you stress a lot, Morgan?
No,
Nah,
nah.
fucking A. And I don't think. Did I hear how old you are?
I'll be 22 this year. 22 this year plus 40.
Big birthday. He's almost. We were talking about on the way over here. He's so excited for his birthday because he's never rented a car before.
Yeah,
He's
now I'll
able to
be
do that.
42.
42. Nice, dude. Fucking A. It's-
Still absolutely smashing it.
Yeah.
Every day. Like it's funny because these shows, obviously, a lot of these students don't know who Morgan is.
Yeah.
And so many of us have this superhero
Yeah.
persona associated
Fucking
with
Morgan
his
Wade,
name,
dude,
right?
yeah.
And if you haven't known what Morgan's doing in the last couple years, and you just heard Morgan was doing shows, and you're thinking to yourself, I wonder if he's still just fucking sending it. And to answer your question, yes, that is an absolute fact. He did it
That's sick.
today. He
I don't
sent
know.
it today.
I don't know if sending it's the right word. I feel like I'm on cruise control, but my
You have a-
cruise
you have a
control
higher-
includes tricks that I do a lot, and most of the tricks that I do a lot, I am comfortable doing. So that's cruise control.
Fuck yeah. Explain. Give me some examples of cruise control. What
I
tricks
mean,
do you
it's
do
like
a lot?
wall
So are we
slap out of
talking
a-
Superman
out of a
whips?
9-foot quarter, 20 feet off the ground,
Superman whips?
Wall slap,
before
super
10
whips.
a.m.
360 super whips, 720s.
Did we talk about his 720s the last time?
No.
I don't remember.
I mean, we talked about Mega Ramp. That's all I can remember, honestly.
Morgan's obviously really good 720s, and a couple years ago, one of the other guys we do shows with, Wesley Hark, he would do 7s too, and sometimes we have shows super early as 7:45 in the morning, and we're at this school by 6:15. We're setting the ramps up, and Morgan thought to himself, he's like, it's going to be, I have the opportunity to do a 720 at 7:20 in the morning. I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah, and like Wes is amazing at 7s also. I mean, Wesley has this thing that he would do where his warm up every day, he just puts his pads on in 720s cold turkey.
Get the fuck out of here.
So like he's legit. Like if you watch him do a 7, you're like, oh yeah, he could do 10, no problem.
Yeah.
Like he could cold turkey 10. I guarantee.
Yeah,
I
for
guarantee
sure.
it.
Yeah. Shout out Wesley Hark.
Shout out Wesley Hark. But so then I get on tour and he's like, yeah, cold turkey, warm up sevens. And I'm just like, I mean, I got him. But good grief, dude. There was pressure. So I started doing every morning. I would do cold turkey sevens with
Just
with Wesley.
first jump of
First
the
jump,
day.
you put your pads on,
and
you
Wow.
pick your bike up, you air the quarter, and 720.
That's insane.
Like first thing you do. And we like so like, you know, this year I haven't been doing it because Wes isn't around. So sorry, Wes. But yeah. So like with the little bit of the added like oomph with Wesley, it was like we had the opportunities. Cold turkey 720 at 7:20 a.m.
That's
so
incredible.
We did it.
Is there any like footage that comes from these shows that are you guys?
Oh yeah.
That one
it all-
specifically was filmed. Catfish. I think you filmed it and you zoomed in on the clock on the wall.
Because it was
And
that
then
720.
yeah.
Morgan, when were you planning on dropping that video that you just edited? And soon, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he can give you this.
There's
video.
just some we got some clips over the last week or two. I was gonna post it up.
Nice street or at the
Just on the
at,
shows.
Just
at
all
the
the
shows.
shows,
Yeah,
yeah.
sick, dude. I want to see.
We
that.
got a few clips from the wedge the other day. That was fun.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, we
What
had
a,
an
what,
awesome.
a, what a wild like we got to ride the wedge with Ratboy.
Ratboy.
Like that doesn't happen. Like I
They
mean, that
ended-
happens obviously, but like that's like good grief. What that's like legend on legend, legendary spot, with legendary rider. I mean, I've been a fan of that dude for so long. I never actually met him before.
Yeah, that
yeah.
was
It was
crazy
dope.
thing.
It was
I
dope.
was sitting over there talking to him, and then Morgan came over, and Morgan was like, "Hey," and I was like, "Oh, you guys know each other?" And Morgan was like, "No, they had already shaken hands." And I'm like, "Wait a minute, you guys don't know each other?" And I was like, "Can you guys shake hands again for an Instagram picture?" So I made him shake hands again, but it's so sick. Obviously, you know BMX, Ratboy meeting Morgan Wade. It's like
legendary.
Batman
Yeah.
meeting
Superman.
Superman. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
yeah, he's awesome.
Rat-
Yeah, the
Rat-
podcast you
Wrigley.
guys did,
Yeah.
came out really good.
Hell yeah. He's I don't know. I'm very excited that he's back around for round 2. You know.
Yeah, it's cool to see that somebody that's been in the game that long and has a real job and has never really made money off BMX.
Yep.
Still loving it. On Sunday he got at least 3 legit clips while we were there. It was we had a really fun day.
He's
shout out
back. He's
Ratboy.
ripping, dude.
Shout out
It's
Ratboy.
sick.
Rat.
So Ratboy.
I've seen Standard Country. Was that Standard?
You know, in
Shine?
my entire life, whenever you bring up Ratboy's name to anybody else, if they don't do that back, they're not down. Like
Yeah,
they don't know
they
what
don't
I'm
know.
talking about.
That video probably got worn out by everybody who had it.
Right? 50 tricks in 20.
So speaking of
24
comebacks,
hours.
who's like another? You guys have been around long enough to see riders come and go and come and go and make comebacks. Like when you think of comebacks, who do you think of?
Comebacks?
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's a good question.
Man. Cameron Birdwell just dropped an edit. Like, was it last year? Did you see it?
Oh yeah! Oh my gosh! Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He
Holy
he
crap.
hit me up and he was like, "Hey," they went to the Reedsport, Oregon park
The
with
loop.
with the
The
loop.
loop. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That gets smaller. It's like a cone kind of, but it's open on both ends. And he was like, "Yo, I want to double loop this thing. How do I do it?" And I was like, "Oh, nice," because like that was the spot where that was literally the first loop I ever did, like actual loop.
Oh really?
Yeah, and the same day I double looped it the exact same day. That was Fudger's idea actually, and it was in Drop the Hammer. But he called. He's like, "What do I do?" And so I just told him like what I did, and he smashed it. I think he did better than I did.
Yeah, the whole
it was
video.
awesome.
The whole video.
That was
awesome.
actually rad to watch. Like,
It's awesome.
he
And
put a
he's
bunch
an
of-
absolute
Where can I watch
legend
it?
too. Probably
Yeah.
on his Instagram.
I'm seeing like all this shit from the '90s, and I'm like, God damn, okay, cool.
Yeah. Wait, did you say Cam Wood?
Cameron Birdwell.
Cameron Birdwell.
Birdwell.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't know the
no,
name.
No, I thought
Yeah.
when you said it at first, I was thinking Wood.
Yeah.
But Cameron Birdwell was the guy that did Superman back peg grab.
That's so sick, dude.
That's right. I forgot about that. Like,
savage.
That's
Absolute NorCal savage.
yeah.
Where do you watch that video?
I'm gonna try to
There's
find
this thing. It's www.you.
I'm on YouTube,
Okay,
dude.
I'm sorry. I didn't know if you knew about it. If you just type in Cameron Birdwell BMX,
That's
Bobby.
what I did.
Bobby, Cameron Birdwell
not coming up.
BMX.
It's all old
see.
stuff.
I just found it. It's right. I think this
43 reasons? No. That was his 43rd birthday. I hit the wrong button. I'm hitting buttons on this YouTube.
Yeah,
There we
40
go.
Reasons. I think that's it.
Sick,
Oh yeah, I guess it would have
dude.
been this long ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, he is an absolute machine.
That's the pipe right there.
that's amazing.
He's a big dude too. Like you want him in the bar fight on your
Yeah,
side.
hell yeah. Was that a sober chip?
I don't know. Probably.
Dude, still killing.
Yeah, there's so much fire in this. He
It's
used
like
to
a
ride
time
for Chew
capsule.
Hip
Yeah.
back in the day.
Tell me more. What else about Cameron?
I'm trying to think. You said comebacks.
You want me to turn this off?
Yeah,
Just think about riders that have come back from injury.
That's that YouTube Premium, baby. Stays playing.
Yeah, we just talked about that. Comeback riders. I mean,
I feel like Martinez is on one right now. He didn't really go anywhere, so to speak, but he kind of chilled out for a little while.
He chilled for a little
and
bit.
He's back
yeah.
on it.
yeah,
It's
he's
rad to see.
so especially with the back break, the stuff that he's doing with the back break.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And vlogs in his car.
Yeah,
You see
yeah,
that? Yeah.
Did the Costa Rica thing.
Very
I was
cool.
in a tornado with him in this last year at Bentonville Bike Fest. It was like this big mountain bike fest. And you know about Bentonville? Did we talk about Bentonville last time?
No.
Bentonville is this little spot in Arkansas, a tiny little town. It's the town where the Walton family is from Walmart.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how it all got started,
like mountain
but
bikes,
they
so they were
love
like,
mountain
let's
bikes.
do
Walmart they dedicated $1 million to every mile of bike trail that they would propose with. There's something like they've already dropped $300 million just on bike trails.
Wow.
Well, you'll go.
It's a mountain bike destination.
It's it, but it's awesome for BMX bikes too, where you'll just draw. Every city has bike trails, but in Bentonville there'll be bike trails, like bike paths, and then there'll be a dirt offshoot, and there'll just be a set of like tabletops with a curved wall ride where you and your girl are riding. She goes straight, you just dip, and then you come back out.
That's so good.
All over the city, there's art installations. It's like, it's really, really cool spot. I forgot completely.
Bentonville,
what we were
Arkansas.
talking about. Bentonville. Why?
You were
we
stuck.
talking about
You started the
Bentonville?
story with a strong sentence. I was in a tornado with
Oh,
him.
I was in a tornado. You know what? This beer is working. I was in a tornado with Corey. I was there for the event, and Corey messaged me. He was like, "Oh, I'm coming up to Bentonville," because he had his fire truck, his converted fire truck, and he was like, "Oh, can I?" Ambulance.
Yeah.
And he said, "Where are you staying? Because they need to charge stuff." I was like, "Oh, I'm at a hotel. You can come stay with me." So he stayed with me for 3 nights. The night of the tornado, all the power went out. That we were watching. There's a bunch of people. It's like midnight. They're in the lobby. There's 20 people in the lobby of the hotel watching the news. Well, the tornado's coming. Corey's sleeping. And then the tornado comes through, and it's so loud, lost power. The whole hotel flooded.
Damn.
It was a savage time.
I can't
Shout out
even
Corey
imagine a
Martinez.
tornado. Yeah, that's wild.
But I remember, and don't take this the wrong way, but when Corey first came in, he was like late, and he took a shower. He came out of the shower with no shirt on, and I was like, "How old are you?" And I forget what he said, early 40s. And I go, "Dude, you seriously look like you're 25 years old. Like,
Yeah.
his body is shredded."
Yep.
Honey, I love you to my girlfriend, but Corey Martinez, woo!
Yeah, Corey and I are the same age.
This episode is brought to you by Burn Slow. Go to burnslow.co and get yourself some of that butterfly stuff. They just came out with a collaboration with Sunday Bikes, and it's pretty fire. And I'm grateful for the fact that they support the show. So we'll keep it short and sweet. Burn Slow is tight. This shirt is good. Adam Roy's a brilliant graphic artist. I don't know words. And yeah, like I said, grateful. So burnslow.co, no promo code. Just go buy some stuff. In today's digital world where we're all connected, but we're not really, it's very important that we keep our in-person institutions alive, like your local bike shop. And Arizona's best local bike shop is Unity Ride Shop. They sponsor a bunch of local riders. They have all the selection that you could possibly ask for, and they'll probably work on your bike for free if you're a BMX homie. But don't tell them I said that. Yeah, I'm grateful that Unity's been a part of this operation for quite some time. I'm looking forward to doing more stuff with them in the future. And yeah, shout out Unity. Go to unityrideshop.com or just go to 43rd Avenue in Bethany Home and check out the store. This episode is brought to you by Dance Comp. Dance Comp is the world's largest BMX online mail order, and they've been a part of the BMX world for quite a long time. I can't believe they've sponsored this show for over a year, so happy 1-year anniversary, I believe. I think. And if you ever need bike stuff, go to Dance Comp. Go order some tubes in bulk right now so that you have some tubes to give out to the boys. Yeah, thanks Dance Comp. Send me a script and I'll read it. Back to the show.
We were born the same year.
Okay. Yeah, his comeback is good. I like thinking about riders that there's why am I drawing a blank on his name? He crashed, ruptured his really bad crash, ruptured his spleen. They thought he was gonna die. Never gonna ride a bike again. Came back. Rode for a team. Yeah, it was not only the spleen.
Morgan's like,
do you have your spleen?
I still have it, but I've ruptured it.
Yeah, his was gone.
I mean, a lot of people rupture their spleens. Like, just take it out. A lot of people had it taken out.
I can't think of his name.
what does a spleen do?
It's a blood filter. It's like
Okay.
It helps with your immune system when you're like younger, mostly. I mean, obviously when you're older. I think every part of you
Right.
plays a role.
Yeah.
But like, you don't need it to live like when you're older. But
Cool.
when you're younger, it boosts your immune system. And like, literally, like a lot of people that have lost their spleens, they just get sick anytime anything comes around. They get
Yeah.
sick. Like, and I remember when
Do you have that?
Oh no, I still have my spleen.
Okay, got you.
So like I ruptured it. It was a mega ramp event in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and I crashed. So it went pop, and I was like, oh no, we were at the hospital, and the doctor's like, yeah, your spleen is ruptured. It's bleeding badly. We need to do surgery right now. Probably take it out. And I was like, oh no. I was like, in my head, I'm like, I know all these dudes that don't have their spleens and they get sick all the time, and I was just like, can you fix it? Literally, that's what I said to him. Can you fix it? And he was like, I'll try. And I was like, yeah, it's good enough for me. Let's go. So we go into surgery, and I wake up, and he's like leaning over me. The nurses are all leaning over me, and he goes, I fixed it.
Hell yeah.
And I was like, yeah. And I high-fived him right there on the spot.
That's so sick, dude. What the
I still
fuck?
got it. We're good.
Shout out Brazil.
It's right here. It's right under your rib cage on the left side.
Tell me about the crash.
It was a mega ramp event in Sao Paulo, and it was just the small side of the ramp was running, so the 50-foot jump, and I'd been riding practice for like a day or two, and I was always dragging brakes into the quarter every time I'd hit it, so I was only going like 14 or 15-foot airs, and
It's a hell of a sentence, dude. It's so
God.
crazy.
Okay. Anyway, so I got used to dragging brakes a little bit, and that's how high I was going. And then contest comes around, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to touch my brakes. So I just white knuckled it into the quarter, and I did a double whip air. And because I did the double whip air and I white knuckled it, I went significantly higher. And you don't really pull out on that ramp because it's a vert ramp. You just kind of have to relax and kind of lean a little bit, because if you just lean back, you'll kind of pop out and you'll keep going out.
Yeah.
But I find that if you give a little bit of a shoulder, just kind of like push your shoulder up a little bit, it keeps you where you're supposed to be. So I had gotten used to doing it at one spot. This is just how I ride. I'm sure there's a lot of vert dudes that are like, that's not how you do it. Whatever. That's how I did.
Koji.
Yeah. I'm not a vert rider.
Call you out for this.
Koji probably does
Don't
that.
ride vert like this. Love you, Koji.
So I go faster, so I pushed in differently, and I went over the deck.
Woof.
And it was like, I don't know, 18 or 19 feet.
Over the deck. Over the whole deck to
Well,
flat.
not over the whole deck. I pushed out, and I was over the deck. So as soon as I took off, I was like, ooh, this isn't good. You know immediately. Like, literally instantly with that ramp, you know if it was a bad air.
So wait, you came out like you pulled off too hard, or you went
I
through?
I pushed in a little bit,
Yeah.
and I actually went through over the deck, just over coping a little bit more than I wanted to be.
Yes.
And like I said, you know instantly when you take off if it's a good air or a bad air. And like, I knew it was a bad air, and I had already started to do the tail whip, and I was like, well, I can either pitch the bike and try to you shove off the bike and try to get my body back into the ramp, or I can just continue, catch the tail whip and just let the bike take it.
Yeah.
And I had this conversation in my head. Literally, I had like a little back and forth.
Yeah.
And I was like, if I jump off and I land on my butt on the coping, that's like jumping off a 2-story building onto a metal fence.
Yeah.
I was like, that's going to break everything. So I was like, I think I'm going to let the bike take it. So I caught the tail up, and I just extended and waited, and it just hung up. And when it hung up, basically I caught sprocket on top of a 27.5-foot quarter pipe from 18 or 19-foot air.
Good God, dude.
And when I caught sprocket, my right hand, the bar pushed into my thumb like this, and it broke my wrist. And then it flung me like a slingshot over the bars, and I went all the way to the bottom of the quarter. And not the complete flat, but I was pretty low on the transition, and I landed on my elbow. and my elbow pushed into my rib cage. 2 ribs snapped, so it broke 2 ribs, which I didn't realize at the time because I just thought I knocked the wind out of myself.
Yeah.
And then the ribs pushed in and my spleen popped. And I just thought I knocked the wind out of myself. So I'm laying there. There's video of it online.
Yeah.
I'll send you a link to it. You can put it right here. And I'm on the ground just like trying to get my breath back. And they're talking to me like, oh, are you okay? And I'm giving a thumbs up. I'm just like, because if you lay down and you put your arms and knees up, it kind of opens your rib cage so you can breathe a little bit.
Is that why you do push-ups when you crash sometimes?
No, I just do that because it's embarrassment.
Good thing you didn't do push-ups when this happened.
No, it's good. Yeah, that probably would not have been good. Or the worm, that would not have helped either. Or on the ribs. No, I just do that because it's silly and the crowd likes it. It's good. I got Sports Center clip of the week doing the worm one time.
Really?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
ESPN, baby.
What did it feel like when you like?
So I just knocked the wind out of myself. So I'm like, oh, I'm getting the wind back. So I did what I normally do, and I put my arms and legs up, and the wind comes back. I'm okay. I get up, and Chris, one of the trainers, the medics, he came over and he was just like, hey, I went to get my bike to go back up for another run, and he was like, let me check you out. Let me just check you over real quick. I was like, all right, cool. So we go off to the side, and I sit down on like the curb, and when I sat down, I leaned forward, and that put pressure on my spleen, and I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's not good. Something's messed up in there.
Yeah.
And I tried to get up by putting my hand down, and that's how I found out my wrist was broken. So I was like, ooh, that's not good either. That really hurts. So I got up on this side. We go inside to the medical room, and I laid down, and he starts pushing up under my rib cage. And when he pushed up in there, it felt like my arm was being torn off my body.
Whoa.
Because you have like, I think he said it's called referred pain.
Yeah.
And it's like the nerve for your spleen originates up here under your shoulder.
What?
So if you hurt your spleen, it feels like your arm. It's
That's interesting.
And when he pushed on it, if you can imagine tying a rope around your wrist and then having your body stuck and a horse just pulling your arm off your body, just like being quartered, medieval. Yeah. That's the best way I can explain it. I was like, ah! I started screaming. I was like, it feels like my arm's getting ripped off. I was like, bro. And he was like, oh no, you're going to the hospital. That's your spleen. And I was like, what? He goes, your spleen. That's your spleen. Trust me. And sure enough, I passed out from blood loss a few minutes later.
Holy cow.
Wow.
They said I turned white as a sheet of paper, I was sweating bullets. I woke up on the floor. He had left to go back out. And when they came to get me to go to the ambulance, they sat me up and I passed out. And I woke up on the floor and he was holding my face. So they had time to go get him and come back.
Holy shit.
And by the time we got to the hospital, they did the surgery. They actually sucked 2 liters of blood out of my abdominal cavity.
That's a lot.
You have 8 in your body, about 8.
God.
It was about a quarter of my blood supply was in around my guts.
Yeah.
Not supposed to be any blood in there. You want to see a picture?
Do you think?
Yeah, I
do you
do wanna
think
see
the
a picture.
surgeons in Brazil that operated on you potentially also operated on a big booty Latina?
Maybe. Yeah, probably. Most likely.
It's like the same.
The odds are high, dude.
Yeah, there are some
odds
big booty Latinas
Yeah.
in Brazil.
I'm not sure the correlation. I don't have a big booty, so I
I
don't
don't
think
know
that
if
would
they-
have helped them in this case. They all went to school in like America. It's a medical school. Like he went the dude that worked on me went to medical school in like Nashville, Tennessee.
Cool.
Apparently that hospital in particular, like it's one of the better hospitals in all of Brazil. I found out, and all the doctors went to medical school in America and then went back down there to work. So he spoke English decently.
I fixed it.
I will try to fix it.
I fixed it. He
that's
thumbs
good enough
up.
for
I
me, man.
fixed it. It's so good.
How long does it take for a spleen to heal?
Yeah, that's a good
Go.
question.
There's not supposed to be any blood in there. That's my guts.
Good
So
God!
that's looking. So the camera is in my belly button, and that's looking down towards like my weenus.
I
Yeah.
have lint in my belly button.
That's the spleen ripped in half.
Ooh,
That's looking up.
What is that? Is that a?
that's the spleen.
But this.
That's a tool.
Oh no!
That's a cut. That's where it ripped.
Oh my God! That looks
So
like
look,
a.
there's blood
a zip
bubbling.
tie. I thought
there's
that was a
blood
zip tie.
bubbling out of it. That's a
Wow.
tear.
What do you think that smells like?
Probably like iron.
Fish.
Not what you're not,
It
what,
smells
not
like
what you're
fish.
saying. I don't think it's very fishy in there. But oh look here, check this out. This is it. This is the crash right here. It actually doesn't look that bad, to be honest. So pushed over the deck, having that conversation, broke my wrist.
Oh!
Ribs.
Yeah, dude.
So here I'm trying to get the wind. I can't breathe right now. Trying to get the wind back. Arms and knees up. Helps you get the wind back. That's my boy Chris right there.
Hot diggity damn.
You probably crashed because nobody likes Brazilian rap music. Listen to that.
Crashed because I
Fucking A.
Wow.
messed up.
Yeah.
I
Talk
done
about an
messed up,
injury
hey,
story.
Aaron.
Yeah.
But dude, I lost like a ton of weight.
After the
I seriously
surgery?
lost like 20 pounds.
You look like Alan
Wow.
Cook there.
Yeah, you
These
kind
are-
of do.
So this is like the marks. They went in my belly button, above my belly button, and 2 holes there. And they had tools. They just little incisions, and they like stuck.
And they
probes in. that
they
had,
were
like, a
able to
little-
like sew you up through those
no,
holes.
so they didn't sew it up. They actually put. He explained it to me. They put because we put a protein we get from cows, and it forces a blood clot. And I was like, oh,
Wow.
The problem is your spleen is so vascular; it just bleeds and bleeds and bleeds. It's like
Yeah.
it doesn't,
Tongue.
it can't. Well, your tongue stops bleeding and it heals really fast, right? Spleen's the same way; it'll heal really fast because a lot of blood flow. Problem is, it has so much blood that if you rip it, it just flows so fast it can't clot.
Yeah.
It won't ever slow
Oh,
down
yeah,
enough
yeah.
to clot. So they put this stuff on there that basically congealed or whatever and forced a blood clot.
That's
And
insane.
How do you
within like
figure that out?
Yeah,
within
dude.
like 3 days, it had healed. So like I was in the ICU for 3 or 4 days, and then I was in a regular room for like another 4 days, and then I couldn't fly for another handful of days. So I was in like a hotel after that.
Yeah.
And, like the dudes that run Megaramp like took care of everything.
Nice.
It was rad. They had actually asked us if we wanted insurance or a higher prize purse, like out of country insurance, and we all were like insurance.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Daryl, this dude Daryl Franklin, he came in and he was like, "Hey, I just want you to know, I was in the ICU still." He was like, "This is 100% covered. I have the confirmation
Shout
email
out
right here."
that guy.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it was sick. So and that would have been like, I'd still be paying for that.
100, more than 100
Oh,
grand.
yeah,
Yeah.
easily. But I would have died within an hour, with maybe less.
What the fuck?
I was bleeding
dude?
out. like,
Yeah.
legitimately bleeding
Oh
out.
my God!
That's
Could you
so
imagine
crazy.
Morgan Wade
Yeah.
dies to Brazilian rap music. That'd be horrible.
Slow
I
death.
would think it would be something like
Yeah, and
Kenny Rogers,
That's
Uh,
wild, dude.
Garth Brooks,
the ARF fund, the
Athlete Recovery Fund.
Was that Aaron?
Aaron, yeah,
Aaron Cook,
Aaron Cook.
Alan's brother. He actually was going to fly Natalie down there, just because I was down there by myself. Everyone else had flown home, and
Yeah.
the Mega Ramp crew. One of the athletic trainers was from there, but she lived in America, and she stayed because she could hang out with her family.
Yeah.
She stayed and took care of me. Like came to the hotel every day,
Wow.
checked on me, took me out to get me some food, made sure everything was good, and then would go back hang out with her family.
Yeah.
And so she stayed down there the whole time, and yeah, they took care of me really well. But I was down there by myself, right?
Yeah.
So they were gonna fly Natalie down. The Athlete Recovery Fund was gonna pay to fly Natalie down there, but the visa process was gonna take like literally she would have got there, and then we would have left the next day. To fly.
Oh wow.
So it was like they were willing to get her down there for me.
That's dope.
That's very
It
cool.
was
That is
awesome.
dope.
Yeah.
They helped a lot of
But it was one of those things where it was like, no, just chill. Like it's okay.
Yeah. Fuck, man. I didn't know you were that close to death before.
Yeah,
That's
it was- yeah, it
really
was- it
scary.
was
Is
a
that
bad
the
one.
closest you've been to death?
No, but that was a bad one. I mean,
Yeah.
it was probably. I had a when I was what year was that? 2000. So I was what 17. I got I bashed my knee because I didn't used to wear knee pads because just
Those dorks
oh,
wear knee
BMXers,
pads, dude.
bro.
Yeah, I'm
Just,
fucking
I
hard.
got shin guards on,
Yeah.
extra skin shin guards on.
Texas tough.
But I bashed my knee, it swelled up. And then it hadn't quite healed yet, and I bashed it again, and it stayed swollen. And I bashed it again, it stayed swollen. It had been like that for like a month. So I had this swollen knee that's just been smashed over and over and over again. And if you wear shin guards over and over and over again without cleaning them,
Huh.
if you have like a little nick on your shin, you get bacteria from the shin guards. Vert AIDS, I think is what they called it
Yeah.
back in the day.
Really?
And it's a staph
AKA
infection.
staph.
So I got a staph infection in my knee because I had all that fluid in there.
Yeah.
And I had a cut or another infection. It made its way into my knee, and that went septic, got into my bloodstream, and went through my entire body.
Wow.
So I had
So
staph-
that's closer to
I had
death. Yeah.
staph in my entire body almost.
Wow.
At one point, I was in bed and I tried to get up to go to the bathroom, and I just fell down like boom, like a sack of potatoes.
Yeah.
And my dad ended up carried me into to the car into the emergency room, and they were like, "Oh, he's got like the flu," and they sent me home. And the next day, we went to because I was still super sick, like feeling like that. We go to our family doctor, and the first thing he looks at is my knee. He's like, "That doesn't look good. Big swollen, bright red." You know?
Yeah.
He was like, "Huh." So he sent me straight back to the hospital.
Yeah.
He was like,
This is not the
this
fucking
knee is
flu.
The
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it turned out to be staph. They had to like cut it open, and I had this big giant hole. And you're supposed to have the bursa sac on your knee. You're supposed to have like a drop of fluid in it. I had 166 cc's of
Oof.
disgusting fluid.
Oh.
So I'm sitting there.
What
dude,
did that
this is-
smell like?
Do a shot
Let
of
me
that.
tell you.
Do a shot
No.
of that.
Dude, I'm sitting there, right? And they were like, okay, the doctor comes in, Dr. Jones, Bones Jones, his name. He's my ortho guy back in the day. Awesome dude. He comes in and he goes, what? And slices that thing open. And I'm sitting there watching, right? He numbed it up and stuff.
Yeah.
Slices it open. And they put like this like tray under because he knew he had to drain it. Dude, I can handle it when I'm okay with like people cutting me open and sticking needles in me and stuff. I'm like, yeah, okay. When I go to the get like a needle put in my IV or whatever, I judge the person based on whether I can feel it or not. You know, like how good are you?
Yeah.
Oh, let's see how good you actually are.
I'm the same way.
So I'm just like, yeah,
Who
whatever.
are you?
And I'm like, it doesn't bother me, whatever. So I'm watching
It is what
and
it
like,
is.
dude, he cuts this thing open, and immediately it just all the fluid starts coming out, and it was like
The smell.
Oh God.
dude, black, white, and green chunks were falling out.
Oh
And
God.
Yuck,
it was
dude.
rancid, and I literally went. I started gagging. It was so bad. I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
You should have took some sourdough bread and dipped it in.
And he
it
starts
ate
pushing
it.
on this. He's got gloves on, of course. He starts pushing on the sides.
Oh my God. All right.
It's just coming out. Like I was like, "Ah, gosh!" And then, so now I've got this giant cavity in my knee. And then he's like, he cleans it out. You know, gets like these Q-tips. They're like this long, these sterile Q-tips, and he pours all this stuff in there. And he starts scrubbing around in there and sticking the Q-tip. Dude, he put the Q-tip in here, and there was a lump over here.
Oh, he's deep.
And he was like, he
he's-
went this way, he went all the way
Oh.
around, and cleaned it all out.
Good Lord.
And then they have this gauze that's like an inch wide, right? It's like long strips of gauze. And he takes one end and he just goes boop. And he just takes his finger and just starts shoving gauze.
Stuffing gauze.
Wow,
He stuffed
dude.
6 feet of gauze.
Oh.
A roll, 1 inch wide, 6 feet long in my knee.
Huh.
And I'm just like, whoa. And like I had for some like my blood was like I had like really low like white blood cell count or something. Whatever makes your blood super thin.
Yeah.
I got a nosebleed at one point and it didn't stop. It wouldn't stop.
Huh.
Dude, I bled like in one of those big pans, like 2 inches.
Damn,
Filled it
dude.
up, and it
From
just
your
wouldn't
from
stop.
your nose.
Yeah, from my nose. And dude, it was it was wild. I
So
was
you
in
had
the
to just
hospital
sit
for-
there with a little tray under your
I
face.
was in the hospital for like a week.
Yeah,
for
dude.
that one, and then afterwards, they didn't want to sew my knee up because it would sew the infection in. So
Yeah.
it had to basically heal
Oh,
from the
I've heard
inside
that.
out. So I had this whole, and when I finally got to go home, he sends me home with all these rolls of gauze, and he's like, change it every day. Like,
Wow.
twice a day. I had all these Q-tips, so I had to pull it out.
Painful.
On my knee.
With no.
It didn't hurt at all. It was
Really?
it was just like weird. It was weird sensation. The only spot you could feel was the edge of the cut, right?
Oh.
But underneath it is just like it's like it just feels like this.
Yeah.
It's like you can just feel something moving under your skin.
Yeah.
So it didn't hurt, but I had to pack
That's
it.
wild,
I had
dude.
to pack it every single day, like twice a day.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then it slowly, I just couldn't get more, and it slowly just and it healed.
That's
That was it.
great.
Check this
Lesson
out.
to
I got a
all
picture
you
of that,
riders
too.
out there, because it happens a lot more than you would think. When you get hit your knee,
Clean
and when
it.
it turns bright red, when your skin turns bright red, go to the hospital.
Yeah.
Go to the hospital. Where is it? I got
Dude,
a picture of my knee. Hold
Speaking
on.
of that, look at Tripp's knee. There's a cut right there
Oh, what
that I'm slightly worried about, but it doesn't look bright red.
Here you go.
It's okay.
Check them out.
He got in a fight with a cat. Sheesh.
Oh,
Dude, what
that's
the
a
fuck?
cut. That
Yeah.
looks like something that I'm not going to say.
No. There's more. Check
It's
this
a-
out.
It's a vagina.
That is.
This is when it was healing, right? So that was the hole as it was healing.
Oh, you've got a vagina on your knee.
There's
you
the
said it,
Q-tip.
not me. I told my
There's the
girlfriend I was going to be
Q-tip. Look,
good.
the Q-tip's in there. That's the end of it right there. That
Oh.
bump. That's how far under it was.
Bro.
Look at this.
It's like Dr.
Stuffing gauze in there, bro.
dude.
Look at that.
Oh my god.
That's full. That's pushing it in.
We are demonetized. I'm gonna show these pictures. He's loving it.
He always does this.
Look at the album. This is the album on my phone.
Blood and gore.
It's nothing but just like injuries and shit.
That's
Oh,
sick.
shit. Come back.
You've lived a hell of a life.
Oh, wait till you see the pig videos.
We got some good pig videos.
Oh, the from the helicopter.
Those are fun too. Dog hunting. Oh, so fun.
Whoa, you run with dogs and the dogs get the pigs. Damn.
They catch them, and they do what's called baying them up. They just stop them, and then the pig is there and it's fine and it's really angry and there's dogs around it. You just run and jump on it.
It's so fun. We went out. We
you
went
run
out,
and jump on the pig?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell him. 2 years ago, we went. He's got a friend that has this crazy ranch, and he has helicopters. It's a whole 9 yard. Morgan knows everybody. But we go out, and we go out in these side by sides, and they have these like Marinol darts, right? It's like super strong weed darts for animals.
Weed darts.
So we would shoot the boars from the side by sides with this Marinol. Boom, they get knocked out. Morgan and I would go and put NBA jerseys on the pigs.
Dude. Yeah, I remember this.
And then we would catch them back and bring them. I made all that up. I'm sorry. I'm lying.
I'm over here like.
No, you told this story last time. The jerseys.
Oh no, that's scorpions. I did.
Oh,
do that
scorpions,
with scorpions.
yeah.
That was a
This
true
guy.
story. I'm sorry. I'm taking up
This,
people's time with my
makes up
lies.
This will not. I will not be sending you this one, but you can watch it right now. This is pretty good.
Pretty
This
good
starts-
life story.
This starts amazing.
Morgan, think this one through, Morgan.
Just enjoy this. I'll show you just the first part. You don't need to see the whole thing.
Think this one through, Morgan. Is that you?
No. See, you jump on the pig. It gets good here in a second.
Oh, you jump on it not to ride it.
I jump on them to ride them.
Yeah,
These
dude.
guys jump on them for something else.
To gut him like a fish. Whew, I was not expecting that at all,
This one's
dude.
real good.
Oh my
Whoa.
god, dude.
What do you think that feels like? What do you think that feels like?
I thought about that lately. What's it like to get stabbed?
Oh!
The squeals. This is a complex
You
one.
guys at home, Morgan is a professional pig tickler, so it's he tickles these pigs. That's what those noises
Oh my
are. It's
god.
them
Good
laughing.
times. Good times. Pigs are a huge problem.
I was gonna say,
Pigs are a
explain
huge-
the morality
No,
of it.
So out here,
It's gnarly, but I
out
know
here you
it's
have,
like
you have javelinas.
yeah.
Javelinas are indigenous. They're actually they are from here. They're a part of the ecosystem. In like Texas and Louisiana and Mississippi and North Oklahoma, all that whole region, people brought wild boar over from Europe.
Who
They're-
did? Who? Can we pin it on one
I have no idea.
people?
Hitler.
Somebody
Probably.
somebody that is, depending on how you look at it, a major jerk, brought the pigs over and caused a lot of problems for everybody.
Oh, so Justin Trudeau.
Yeah, probably might have been. Yeah, Castro. Yeah. So
That's a thing.
Justin
I love
Castro.
getting subtle
Anyway,
political.
they released the pigs so that because in Europe, like it's like wild boar hunting is like it's like a delicacy, and they make these pigs. It's like buck hunting over here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they released these pigs so they had something to hunt over here. The problem is there's no natural predators for these pigs,
So they just multiply.
Just multiply.
Yeah.
And the heli hog hunting dudes that I go with in Temple, Last Shadow, good
Shout
crew.
out Last Shadow.
Shout out Last Shadow, good crew. The way they explain it is every single pig that you let get away will create 64 pigs in 1 year's time.
That's so wild.
So I believe it's like a pig can start having more piglets. A female sow can have first litter of piglets at like 6 months old, I think. And they can have up to 13. And then every 3 months, they can have another one.
Wow.
So you
Holy
got to think
cow.
one sow
It's a factory.
at
That's like
6
Greek
months
people.
can have like up to 13 pigs. And then 9 months, 13 more pigs. At a year, 13 more pigs. And then those first pigs at that year are now having piglets also.
Wow.
So it's like it's
What's
exponential.
What's like the biggest harm that they do to the environment that
Crops.
that they're
They
in?
destroy crops. Like they eat everything. So there's a sweet potato farm close to where I live, And the guy, I went out there one time with a dude that has a hog removal business, gets rid of pigs for people at farms. And the dude that hired him owns a sweet potato farm where we were hunting. And he had a 110-acre field of sweet potatoes. In one night, a herd of pigs is called a sounder. A sounder of pigs is up to like 50, 60 pigs, right?
Whoa.
A lot of pigs. One sounder of pigs in one night ate 10 acres of sweet potatoes.
Wow.
How many nights
I
do you
can't
get
even
before
picture
you have
that.
no crop?
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
someone's livelihood.
Yeah.
So that's the the money side of it. But they also kill livestock. They eat everything. Literally, they eat everything. They're
Yeah.
very dangerous to humans as well. Like they have or like tusks on the side of their mouth. It's the horns that stick out.
Yep.
There's two on top. On each side, you got the top ones and the bottom ones. And they actually cross when they eat. They chew. They actually rub against each other like this, and they sharpen constantly.
Whoa.
They're constantly sharpening as they chew. So the bottom one is actually, I'll show you a picture. It's actually like a giant razor sharp spike on either side of their mouth.
Fuck.
And when they charge humans, which they do, if they feel threatened, they charge humans or whatever. Or sometimes even if they don't feel threatened, they charge. They're right about your femoral artery height.
Ooh.
And they'll get you, boop, and you just bleed out. So that actually happens.
Yeah.
It's not
I was telling
super-
Morgan
it's
there's-
not super common, but it definitely has.
Yeah.
has
There's
happened.
this Russian guy that I just started
dangerous.
following on Instagram, and he is such a savage. He's like a Russian hunter, and he hunts boar in Russia, and he'll wait. He has got dogs, and he has the dogs lead the pig back to him, and he's waiting with a shotgun in the bushes, and he'll wait until the very last minute where the pig will see him. The pig will charge him, and he just waits, and then when he gets point blank, the guy just blows the pig's head off. They're a real detriment.
That's a
They're-
fun little hobby he's
Yeah,
got.
he's awesome. It's good to get rid of him.
I
If there's
wanna-
any pigs
yeah.
out there watching this, you guys suck.
Sorry.
They're a big problem with the whole catalytic converter thing too, because
Yeah.
the tusks can take it down. Seriously,
It's an epidemic in these
Seriously,
cities,
I saw
dude.
it on Reddit. Seriously,
All right, here, check this out. This is,
you eat them?
you can, yeah.
What do they taste like?
Look at
Oh yeah.
that. The tusks right there. This dog got a little too close.
Oh, poor doggy.
Was that his butt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
Oh,
bug.
Dang, look at
man.
his face.
And
Looks
then
like
his-
Rihanna.
bloodied up.
His
Oh,
ear,
yeah,
his
his
ears
ear.
ripped in half.
Savage.
Well, you know what they
Wait,
say.
wait for
Who's
it,
a good
wait for it.
boy? No.
You can put your whole hand in there.
Ooh, you could put a cigarette in that.
The
He
dog
could
has a
smoke
cut
like
on
that.
his chest that is literally
It's like a
through all the
hole
meat.
in his
That's
chest.
a
Put
cavity.
your entire hand in there. The dog, they were
Damn.
able to save the dog. The dog didn't die, I think. But that's was the dude. So that other video I showed you, the guy that ran, jumped on the pig.
Yeah.
That was his dog. It's one of his oldest dogs.
Yeah.
He's a bay dog. So the bay dogs bay them up. They stop them. They chase them, catch them, get around them, bark at them, and the pigs stop, which means they're bayed up when they're stopped. Right?
Yeah.
And then they have bite dogs, typically pit bulls, and they have Kevlar vests for that reason right there.
Yeah,
And the
dude.
bite dogs, they basically bring those in, they let them go, and they run up and they'll bite the ear and control them
Yeah.
so that you can catch them, put them in a cage. Do
How
whatever you want,
wild,
or,
dude.
Or
Yeah.
kill them. Or
Yeah.
What's
dispatch
crazy
them.
for me is with the dogs, the guys that actually will shoot, the pig will be surrounded by dogs, and they just aim up and.
Typically,
Yeah.
typically we don't use any guns when we have the dogs. Just
Oh,
because
really?
We don't want to accidentally hit a dog.
Yeah, for real.
And
That explains the kniving of the pig. Yep.
Exactly. So and a lot of guys will catch them and sell them to butchers alive. Like they'll put them in a cage and sell them that way because they can get good money for them.
Nice.
For butchers and all that.
What do they smell like?
What a
They
wild
smell
thing.
terrible.
Really?
Oh yeah, they're nasty.
They don't look like they smell good.
Have you always been this flinchless looking at pigs getting stabbed and
No, not
blood
at all.
flowing everywhere?
It-
What
it
was your
actually-
first
It
kill?
actually bothered me quite a bit. Just the thought of like killing, skinning, any of that stuff like bothered me a lot. Not that long ago actually, probably like 8, 9 years ago, 10 years ago.
What switched?
I wanted to not be like that because I wanted to, if need be, if someone had to go and get food for the family out of the woods, I wanted to be the dude that could do that.
Yeah.
And for me, I was like, okay, I don't like feeling like grossed out by this or like what or just. So I intentionally chose to numb myself to it. And
Fuck yeah.
The best way to do that is to just jump in head first.
Just
And
do
I got
it.
a bunch of buddies who are Navy SEALs, and they enjoy the heck out of
Yeah, I bet.
And I was like, hey,
Probably because they're used to doing it to people. They haven't been able to do it to a human in a
They
while.
invited me to go hunting with them, and I was like, yeah,
guess we'll play
I'll
by the
go.
rules.
Heck yeah, let's do this. And sure enough, it was just like, they were just like, do it. And I was like, yes, sir. Here we go.
What was
So
the
it
first
like-
thing you did?
It's like head
stab
fir- Well, so okay, how deep do we want to go here?
I want to go
So-
deep.
Yeah. Sorry for anybody that's nervous about or doesn't
I'm
like
so
it.
glad this is going this way.
It is what it is. It's hunting. So
It's human nature.
It is, dude. Like when you're talking about that, I'm thinking that's primal, that's real. Like if
So,
we live in this weird society, but like if you had to go hunt for food,
Yeah,
I'm
if
sure
shit,
no,
if
and
shit
that-
hit
we're
the
all
fan,
fucked. Like so
and,
many, so
and
many
that's-
people-
and that's
we
just
lost
it,
all
like-
electricity,
and
and
it-
you've never hunted before.
Yeah,
You're fucked.
you're
literally
fucked.
exactly, and like I mean and at this point like I've skinned coyotes, I've skinned pigs, I've skinned deer, like and like gutted them and stuff, and it's like yeah, that bothered me at first, but now it doesn't bother me because I just
you detach.
intentionally
Yeah.
did it so that it wouldn't bother me anymore, and now
Yeah.
it doesn't bother me, and it's one of those things like my mom has chickens, and she for eggs, so we get eggs, and then also she raised meat chickens too. So she got these chickens, a specific breed that gets real big, and like after like 8 or however many weeks, you can harvest
Butcher them.
them.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think it's churches.
Churches. And you harvest them, which literally you kill them and you pluck them and gut them, and you literally once you do that, it was amazing when we actually did that whole process, how quickly you end up with what you buy in the store.
Yeah.
And it's literally it goes, you kill it, you stick it in like not boiling water, but really hot water for like 30 seconds, and it softens the feathers. You put it in this tumbling machine with these rubber like finger things on it, and it pulls all the feathers that plucks them.
Nice.
And then you got like a chicken with no feathers, and then you literally chop the head off, chop the feet off, gut them, and at that point you have what you buy in the store.
yeah.
It's like a little chicken body, right, with no feet, no head, and you're just like no feathers, and you're just like,
Oh shit.
oh,
yeah.
I see this all the time.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take much to get from A to B,
Yeah.
and everyone is so used to B, but they don't know how to handle A.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be able to handle A, and like my mom, when you raise chickens for meat, the number one rule is don't name them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't get to be friends. You're
Yeah.
gonna kill them. You're gonna and my mom can't help it. She's
Yeah.
like, oh, the chickens. She's like, I can do everything, but I can't kill them. I just can't kill them. But she's fine with plucking them and doing all that stuff. And I was just like, nah, I'll kill them.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like,
How do you kill him? Chop his head off? Is that head?
yeah, you turn them upside down and they pass out because the blood rushes to their head. Same as what happens to us when we turn upside down for a while. You
Oh,
get the
nice.
blood rush. They pass out, and then you literally chop their head off and leave them upside down for a while, and the blood keeps draining out. You want to get as much blood out as possible,
Yeah.
so that you don't have the blood in the meat.
That's like a really
and then-
moral way to do it. Like
yeah.
I've
They
passed out
literally
before.
They literally pass out.
Yeah. They don't feel shit. Cool.
Wow. You ever kill them with kindness?
No, I haven't done
Just
that.
compliment them to
I
death,
haven't
dude.
done that.
You're a great
Compliment
I'm
them.
just
chicken.
not kind enough, apparently.
What's a name for what would you name a chicken? I've been sitting over here trying to think of a clever name and I can't. Pluckies.
Well, there was one that was like a white chicken that we had, and my son named it Whitey.
Whitey. And then you had to and then we killed
Texas.
Whitey. Yeah.
And we'll be right back.
White chicken.
We'll be right back. You seen Adam Ray, Dr. Phil?
Yeah, he's hilarious.
So good.
So funny.
Well, cool. That's a hell of a detour. I love it. Thank you for sharing.
I also very cleverly avoided answering that last question before that.
Good job.
There you go.
Good job. I'll ask
Anybody
you
has
after.
any questions on homesteading or animal murder? Hit my man up, Morgan Wade at morganwade.hotmail.
Shoot him a DM. Let's hard segue.
I'll tell you after.
I wanna know about both of your guys' kind of origin stories, the first taste of the industry. Let's start with Morgan. Like, what was your first sponsor or your first like contest win? Because I think if I understand, like you came up in the contests and then turned video part, or no?
So like, I mean, I rode like amateur contests, like
Yeah.
M comps at in Dallas when I was 14, 15. And then my first pro contest would have been 2001. Oh, is it maybe 2001? Somewhere in there. First legit pro contest. I rode like it was for Rick actually. The ASA. It was the ASA Mobile Skate Park Series.
Oh,
thing
okay, yeah.
In
Cincinnati?
No, it was in Dallas.
Okay.
And that was they had the big, huge box jump with a 16-foot deck. Koji was there. Koji did a double flip over it. He won the best trick contest.
Oh, I don't think I was at that one.
And it was one of those things like who was it? It was Nolly had come to town like a few days early, and like
Rob
I
Nolly.
used to,
Yeah.
I used to do shows.
Not,
Yeah, Rob Nolly. I used to do shows for Jason Cox back in the day.
Okay,
He
shout out
used to
Jason Cox.
He used to ride for GT a long time ago. He was like full factory GT guy back.
I've
in the
researched him when
Yeah.
I
Big
got on
time,
GT. Yeah,
boss.
Rob Nolly did.
Big time
Yeah.
Jason Cox.
he's got a nice
So,
drinking establishment now. in
Jason
Texas.
Oh,
was
I did
hanging
research
out
Jason.
with Nolly because Nolly was in town and they were both on GT together. And it was one of those things where like we had gone to the skate park and Jason introduced me to Rob at the skate park and we rode together, had a session. That was at it was a GPX, Grapevine. Was it Grapevine? I can't remember what.
Do you back then
But
when you
where
met
the-
Rob
it was the
Nolly?
X Trials skate park at the horse racing track in Dallas. Do you remember that?
No,
It's
I
called
don't know.
Alliance Skate Park now, currently. But anyway,
At this level, like when you met up and you're having a session with Rob Nolly, are you keeping up with these guys that are pro on GT? Like,
Yeah.
are they? They're yeah.
Mhm.
That's interesting to think about.
yeah. Well, I mean, not with Rob, but like, yeah, but I could hang.
You
Yeah.
can hang.
Yeah.
I could do some stuff here and there, but enough that like when we had the session, Rob like the contest came up and I was out there and I was like, oh man, it'd be sick to ride the contest, and Rob vouched for me
Sick.
and Rob and Jason got me into the contest.
Nice.
Basically told Rick, hey, let this kid ride.
Heck
He's a
yeah.
local kid, like that type of thing. And so I rode the best trick contest and I didn't win it or anything. I think Koji actually won. He did the
With the
double
double
flip
flip.
with a double flip.
Remember what you did?
I did a suicide double truck driver over the giant box. They had like a
Wow.
30-foot roll in right in front of it, and then
Uh-huh.
this 16-foot deck. It was a 6.5 or 7-foot tall box with a 16-foot deck, and I went.
yeah.
And I just kept going, and then I finally landed. But I did a couple other things, but that was like my and that's actually where I got sponsored by Mutiny Bikes because Steve Inge was at that event and he saw me ride and was like, hey, and the dude that used to own the Foundry bike shop up in Denton, Kevin Sukahara, I was good buddies with him. Steve started the bike shop in Denton years ago, sold it to Kevin, and then he basically said, hey, because he knew Kevin knew me, he's like, hey, tell that kid I want to like talk to him or whatever, and basically hooked me up.
Nice.
Got me on and that's how I got my first bike sponsor. Was
Yeah.
Mutiny Bikes through Steve Inge.
What was it like to have a bike sponsor back then versus having one now? Is it any different? Like, was there
I mean,
more to it back then?
no, it's about the same. I mean,
Yeah,
like
you get free
honestly, like,
stuff and travel, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Back then, well, I mean, I basically just free bikes.
Yeah.
At that point, it all just depends on which sponsor, because everyone's a little bit different. You know, you work out whatever deal you got, but basically the same. I remember I got my first bike was a that I got from Steve was a what was it? Soldier, the Mutiny Soldier. You remember that one?
Yeah.
Heavy. It was heavy. It was like thick tubing everywhere and a bunch of gussets that were unnecessary, but it was like what 2000.
That was when everything was strong.
It was like
48.
It was like
Yeah.
2000, 2001, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So it was like everything was strong, like 50-pound
Heavy
bikes.
bikes.
right?
Yeah.
And I remember I got the thing, and literally the first or second session, I bent the rear end of it, like the back rear triangle bent sideways, and I was like, "Hey, Steve, I bent this frame," and his wife was there, and she was like, "No, don't give him another one. don't do it." And Steve was like, "No, I'll send you another one." So he sent me another one, and that was actually all he had in stock at that point in time was the I believe it was called the Punisher frame, and it was like super short. It was like a 19-inch top tube.
Wow.
And I was like, dude, that's short. I rode like a 20 and a half back then, which to me would feel super short now. So this is even shorter. I mean, 19, 18, I forget. It was a pretty short top tube. And that was the bike. Do you remember? Okay. Would have been the first time you met me was at the Roots Jam.
Lime green bike?
It was kind of like a darker green bike.
Yeah.
And I was doing the Super Whips.
Yeah,
that
that's
was
right.
where
Yeah,
everyone saw the
yeah.
Super Whip for the first time.
That's right.
Because they're like,
Yeah.
oh, Super Whips. That was the frame I was on. There's a picture of me doing that. I'll see if I can find it. I'll see.
That'd be
Was this
sick,
Afro Morgan?
Around that time,
Yeah,
probably, yeah, probably. But like literally, there's like a black and white photo. I can see it in my head. I know I've got it somewhere. I'll try to find it. But that's the frame. That's actually that frame. And then, fast forward, I end up getting a signature frame through them and whatnot. But,
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Did I get off track? Or
No,
we're still talking about
I asked about the origin story.
origin,
Yeah.
What about you, Catfish?
Contest. Oh, the first contest I rode, that was like a kind of like a Jam's best trick thing. The first contest I rode was the T1 FBM Jam.
Sick.
At Ramp Ranch in Austin, and that was 2001 probably, somewhere in there.
How old were you when you got your first BMX?
I did flip to sprocket on the horseshoe bowl on the coping. Flip
Oh,
to sprocket.
wow. That's sick.
180 back in.
Oh,
no,
180
I would
back
do
in?
180 back in.
What was your first BMX bike?
My first BMX bike, like legit BMX bike, was a J Miron Powermatic
Oh,
Schwinn.
wow.
It's a Schwinn.
Wow. I just saw, where did I just see Schwinn footage? Oh.
Shout out J Miron.
Jason Enns. Jason Enns was riding on a
Schwinn.
wild Schwinn.
Schwinn.
Yeah.
Was Austin the Mecca as it kind of has slowly
He's
become?
got amazing
Yeah.
takes on
Absolutely.
Austin because he's lived there.
I lived there,
He's
yeah.
So
Yeah.
many.
We used to do road
iterations.
trips down there. I lived there for a while.
How far is Tyler from Austin? Like an hour and a half?
3.5.
Oh, that far. Okay.
3.5, 4 hours. Yeah.
Did you ever cross paths with the V Club guys?
Oh yeah.
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 Those-
Harabel, yeah. I knew Harabel
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
Fucking
out
legends,
the
dude.
V
I love the
Club.
V Club, dude.
Shout out Kareem.
That was like right when I was getting into watching videos online, like starting to ride was V
Mm-hmm.
Club, V Club era. So this is like a history lessons, dude. It's sick. You know?
Yeah, those
I
are
love
my
it,
boys.
man. Yeah, I love it. Catfish, what's your fucking origins, dude? Where'd you come from? You're a fucking
I started
alien.
riding in like
1962.
80, right? Actually, I remember very well because it was I started riding the exact day that Abraham Lincoln was murdered. No, I'm serious. I saw it in the newspaper, and I'm like, oh, John Wilkes Booth. I'm gonna get a BMX bike.
And you said it's an inside
Did
job.
you put a jersey on him? Did you run put a jersey
I
on him?
should have. I should have. I grew up in the '80s.
What was that like?
But it was wild. Dennis McCoy had a really good quote. And I don't know if because I can't remember what I did yesterday. I don't remember if I said this in the last podcast. But Dennis McCoy has a really good quote that always resonates with me. It says, I'm glad that I wasn't born 100 years ago, and I'm glad I wasn't born 100 years from now
Fuck
because
yeah.
I would have missed all of this.
Yes.
And I feel that way where I started riding in '86. I had a shitty BMX bike, saw magazines, BMX Plus, and then Rad came out. My mom took me to go see Rad, and I wasn't even really into BMX. It was just this cool bike movie.
Yeah.
So we went and saw it, and that was the first time I ever saw. I remember specifically, imagine being a kid and seeing somebody doing an air on a quarter pipe, but not knowing how he got to that point.
Yeah.
Because there was no video of it. So I see pictures when I saw Rad, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what they're doing. They're going up this and turning around in the air.
Yeah.
And from that point on, it was just like, that was it. And obviously, I've had ADD. I still do.
Can you imagine
And
if the first picture you saw was the Hoffman on that quarter?
Oh my gosh.
Like,
you just think that's normal. You just think that's normal.
You can't see the dirt bike.
Yeah.
You just see him.
Right? You just have to figure it out.
Holy.
Bart DeYoung actually told me a really funny story one time about, and he's a little bit older than me, but him and his brother back in Alar Rixel, Holland, they grew up through the magazines.
Shout out to the
And
DeJong brothers.
Yeah, shout out to Fat BMX. But I remember Bart telling me a story about how they got a magazine and there was a Vanderroll in it. You know what a Vanderroll is?
No.
You're riding along, you grab the front tire, you're going very slow.
Yeah.
You grab the front tire and you roll over the front of the bike and you do a somersault.
Bike
Sick.
doesn't flip with you.
Yeah. Shout out Dave
and then
Norrie.
You like whip the bike over the top.
And
Cool.
you come back over. Shout out Dave Norrie. We'll put a clip in of this.
Yeah.
But when you're doing it, you're going super slow. And Bart, they had
Aaron Ross used to do those.
they had a sequence of this in the magazine, right? But it doesn't tell you how fast you're going. So Bart and his brother were like, oh, you got to go fast to do this. So they're going fast, pulling the front tire and just completely eating it. But yeah, so I started riding in '86. Got
How old were you? Is this high school years? I want to know what you were like in high school.
I was 11 in '86.
Okay.
So 11, 12. My brother also got into BMX at the same time. He got a BMX bike before I did. And I remember our neighbor had a GT Vertigo, and that was the first time I'd ever laid eyes on a real BMX bike where there's pegs on. It was pristine. He had just gotten from the bike shop, and it was pristine. I have pictures. I'll send you pictures somewhere of me riding trying tricks on his bike. Like I remember I set the bike up like a Miami Hopper, and I like stood on the tire, and they're
Take a
Polaroid
picture,
pictures.
yes.
Yeah, because you didn't know. Like,
Yeah.
you didn't know. I remember I didn't know the first time I saw somebody doing a bar ride, a trick where they're standing on the handlebars. I was convinced that there's some mechanism that you lock the stem to stop the bars from swinging.
Yeah.
Right? Because I had no
Yeah.
like grasp
Don't
of
know
how
what's
it worked.
possible.
And so I
I
rode
feel
all
like
through
that
high
is
school.
a mechanism that someone has made at some
They
point.
probably
For
have
sure.
to. But I was super lucky to have super supportive parents. My dad was he was really into working out with wood. So from the get go, we had a bank, a little kick turn ramp, then quarter pipes. I had like a 6-foot quarter pipe in my driveway forever.
Sick.
And then rode BMX in high school, rode BMX in college. I wrestled in high school, got a scholarship to wrestle in college. Well, they call them grants. I went to a Division III school. Wrestled in college, tried to take it serious, riding the whole time, which was really weird because it's like BMX and wrestling are two completely different things.
Yeah.
And I talk about this sometimes in the shows that we do where there's so many parallels, and I learned so much from both riding and wrestling where it was like, if I went to a BMX contest and I got last place, I couldn't blame anybody but me.
Yeah.
If I lost a wrestling match, there's one person that it's their fault that I lost,
Yeah.
and it's me. So it was like, if I want to get better at something, you have to put the work in. And I kind of apply that work ethic to BMX, and I've never been an average rider. You know, I've always been incredible.
That's right.
And and it was just fun. I love BMX. And back then it was weird because we were always the outcasts. You know, maybe I talked about this last time, where
I don't think so.
there was no, you know, if you go to any high school, you would be really hard pressed to not see students wearing skateboard gear, Thrasher t-shirts. Where when I was in high school, back then, when in the 1800s, if you were wearing a Vision Streetwear shirt, you were like the outcast. You were like, you would never see that. And
That's
to
interesting.
see how culture has really,
Adopted it.
you know, action sports culture has really taken off, and people have been like, oh, the skateboarding's cool, I'm gonna rock this. So you'd never see that. So then I graduated college in '98. I went to school for communications. I wanted to be a DJ because I'm loud and handsome. And
Hold on, stay in high school for a
so-
second. You know, in passing, was there passing time?
passing time. What do you mean?
Like in between classes, or did you go to different classrooms, or
Yeah.
you were in
we-
one?
we'd go different
What did you do during passing time? Did you have a little click, or did you jump from click to
I was kind of like, I was in a little bit of everything. 'Cause
Yeah,
I
I
was
could
like
picture
the
you just
bad
going-
kid,
yeah.
and then I was like the outcast because I was a BMX rider. But then when I started wrestling, I had all these new friends
Yeah.
that I made. I became friends with a lot of the football players because we'd all be in the weight room together and stuff. So I kind of like jumped around. I've like lived a lot of crazy lives where like even in college, I joined a fraternity.
click? Nice.
Right,
Yeah.
and I went to like I said, a small Division III school. There was only 4 fraternities. There was like the party fraternity, the football fraternity, the other sports fraternity, and then the doctor and lawyers fraternity.
Which one were you in?
The
Oh,
doctor and lawyer fraternity. Shout out my Sigma Nu brothers. I ended up getting kicked out for selling weed. Shout out Fat Brian, my roommate. He just lost his house in the Palisades fire. We're going all over the place here. But so then I graduated, and I at the time I was obviously still riding. My friends and I had just started we had a warehouse in Youngstown, which is like an hour from where I was going to school at. And so I graduated. I knew some people in BMX. I was just a rider. I wanted to get a job in BMX anywhere.
Yeah.
So I sent resumes out to every BMX company.
Sick.
Guess how many messaged me back?
0.
0. I didn't hear back from any of y'all. Maybe that was writing on the wall. Maybe you made me work harder to get this shit. But so then I ended up getting a real job. Got a job working for this transportation company in Youngstown. And then from there, I ended up getting a job working for the Boy Scouts. Right? They had like, it's a whole different thing. They had a exploring program. You can like help kids find what they're good at and pair them with mentors. I know, right? I've come so far. And
Were you a great scoutmaster?
it wasn't like that. It was called exploring. It's like peer whatever.
Teach the kids how to
They
explore
maybe I
themselves.
was a
It's
great
ruined, dude.
scoutmaster.
Boy Scouts is ruined forever.
I think the Boy Scouts went under. I think I maybe put them under for me buying
Now it's something
buying
else that's
Zimas
like
on
gender
my
inclusive
company
anyway.
card. But so then I bounced around. I ended up getting a job working for Ford. Moved to Michigan. Was working at the Ford electric plant. This would have been early 2000s. They had an electric they were kind of like glorified golf carts. It was called Think, TH apostrophe or exclamation
mark.
point NK. You can look it up. They went under. I'm sure the Illuminati has something to do with doing away with this electric program, but I worked for them for a long time. And then my friend was like, hey, I can make you way more money working at a wheel factory in Dayton, Ohio, or outside of Dayton. And he said, because at the time I was smoking a lot of weed, he said, the only kicker is you're going to get drug tested. I was like, fine, that's good. So I went down. It's called Ube Manufacturing. They're out of business too. I'm like kind of leaving a trail of destruction everywhere I go in my life. But they went out of business. But
When did the spinner
everything's
wheels come
going
into
on.
I'll get to the spinner wheels. So then I end up getting, so I go down for this job interview. I don't know anybody in Southern Ohio. The only person I know is Dave Jacobs. Shout out Dave
Damn.
Jacobs.
That's a good dude to know.
Yeah. So I'm I link up with Dave. I say, I'm coming down with this job interview on a Friday. Can I chill at your crib? So me and my dog come down there. I go to my job interview, take my drug test, go to Dave's house. And when I go into Dave's house is when the first time I ever met Micah Kranz. Mike is living with him, and Quinn Semling is living with him.
Wow.
So they were like, oh, the owner at DK, Bill Danishek, shout out Bill. He has a property, and he does this haunted hayride in the fall, where he hires like high school kids to come out and scare people, and they set up the ramp so the DK guys are riding there. So they're like, you want to come ride in the shows or announce the shows or whatever? I was like, yeah. So I come out, and they did like 3 shows, and I rode Flatland in one show, and back then I was doing backflips, so I did a backflip and another show, and then I announced one of the shows. And then Billy, the owner of DK, comes up to me. He's like, oh, what's going on? I was like, oh, I know Dave. I met these guys. I came down here for a job interview. He's like, well, you're really good on the microphone, and we have a lot of, we have local shows here. If you get this job, let me know, and you can come do some shows with us. I was like, bet. Ended up getting the job. Started doing shows with DK. First time Billy hooked me up with a frame. First time I ever got. And keep in mind, I'm 25 or 26 this time. Like my dreams of being sponsored rider were long gone. Right,
Yeah.
I've got a mortgage.
You're an adult.
And so I started doing shows with DK, and just on the weekends. And the job that I was working at was horrible. I was put in 10-hour days. It was a foundry, and they made wheels for PT Cruisers. It was just a nightmare. And so I didn't have a lot of time to ride, but every free moment I would go ride with Dave or Micah and Quinn. And then Micah ended up getting let go from DK, and I'm making a shitload of money at this wheel factory. And then Billy hits me up, and he's like, hey, we need a team manager. Is this something you'd be interested in to handle it was the stunt team initially. And he was like, here's the deal. He was like, what are you making now? And at the time I was making something like over 70,000 a year. Back then it was insane, but with overtime I would have come close. I would have been in the 90s. And he was like, well, this is what I can offer you. He's like,
Said, well,
15.5 and health insurance. And if you decide to take the job, you're leaving in a month for a 6-month tour where you only have to do 1 show a week. Everything's paid for, per diem, hotels, it's like a mall tour, yeah. And at the time I was dating this girl.
That's an expensive tour.
And I wasn't going to do it. And this girl that I was dating at the time, she was like, I came home, I was like, Billy just offered me $15,000 a year to be the team manager, DK stunt team manager. She's like, you have to take it. And I wasn't going to do it. And then she basically forced me into it, and it was probably one of the best decisions of my life because obviously I started with DK. And then that summer, that same summer I went on tour is the first year I worked for the X Games. Wessel had put my name in, and he called me and he was like, hey, what are you doing on August, whatever? And I was like, nothing, I got no plans.
Wait, what year was that?
This would have been, my first year was the year that Dave had the gold bike.
2006.
2006?
No, 5.
2005.
Gold bike was 2005.
Was that 2000? That was my first year announcing
it's
it.
impressive that you know that,
Right?
Because you were there.
He was
Yeah.
there. But it was awesome, too, because Wessel had hit me up, and the X Games was looking for an announcer. And Wessel asked me, he's like, hey, are you available in August? I said, yeah. He said, all right, this girl, Molly, is going to call you. I gave her your number. Didn't tell me what it was for. So the next day, I see a 310 number coming in, LA number, and I answer it. She's like, hi, is this Catfish? I was like, yeah. She's like, hi, this is Molly from X Games. Nate Wessel gave us your number. I'm like, and it's so typical of Wessel to like do that. Where
It's like not tell you that it's X
so
Games.
so then I announced that X Games, and then from there, it was literally just an avalanche of contests where people were just, oh, we like how you announce. And then I did Simple Session. I didn't even have a passport. Wessel was building Simple Session. This would have been 2005 or 6. And he was building Simple Session. And I was like, I wonder if they need an American announcer, an English announcer.
Yeah.
So I said, Wessel, can I sleep on your can I sleep on your floor if I get a flight over? He's like, yeah. So I messaged the dude that does Simple Session. I won't say his name. The dude that does Simple Session, and I was like, hey, if you fly me to Simple Session, I'll announce your contest for free. I got a place to stay. He was like, hold on, I'll get right back to you. 10 minutes later, he was like, give us your passport information. I'm like,
Sick.
fuck, I don't have a passport. So I left work at DK to go get my passport photo to go to Simple Sessions. So that was the first time I actually officially left the country. And then from then, it's just been wild. I've done
a whirlwind.
I've been really, really fortunate to do a lot of contests, and I have a lot of really good friends to put my name in places. So it's been fun.
It's so crazy to think that you barely even scratched the surface of everything you've done in BMX. Like,
yeah,
it's pretty nuts. That was like your trajectory, and then it's just.
I'm so fortunate to be, and not for a sec. I never take it for granted. Where maybe I talked about this last time. I still trip out that I'm friends with him.
Yeah,
like I still trip out that it's.
I keep looking over and be like, "That's like Morgan Wade, dude."
Like 25-year-old me is just like, dude, this is Morgan Wade. You know.
Yeah, but I was just a little Afro kid that could do super whips.
Yeah, but it's crazy too because like I still love it so much, and my favorite thing, yeah, and that's my favorite thing too. Where it's like I've met so many of these riders when they were young, you know. Like I met Morgan when he was a teenager, and it's so sick to be here 25 years later, and we're still doing the same thing.
Yep.
He's got an amazing life. He's accomplished so much. For me, it's like being able to watch your friends, because you know every BMX rider that wants to make it. There's riders that ride for fun and they just want, but there's riders that want to make it.
Yeah,
and it's so fucking awesome to watch these riders have this dream and then get to be on the microphone throughout their entire career. That's like one of the best things ever, because it's like, it's fun to be able to show people, yo, if you want something bad enough and you put the work in and you surround yourself with the right people, like I talked about in the beginning, you can do anything. You literally can do it.
You just gotta, like, that's the hard part for a lot of people, is having a vision. Like a lot of people don't go towards anything. They're just kind of fucking,
or they think it's unattainable, where they
just immediately shoot it down.
Yeah,
it's like,
society
I could never do
makes
that.
it
It's like,
seem like it's so impossible to do, but it's like, you know, carve your own path. It's possible.
big time.
Yeah. Also smoke weed.
I've recently started embracing the weed.
I noticed that.
Yeah,
I noticed that at the spot.
Yeah,
it helped you get the clip,
dude. It did.
It always does.
Took a little puff. He told me to think about Oprah. I got pretty close to landing it. Dude.
Oprah or Opa?
Oprah. I always say Oprah, because if you focus on a trick, you're getting frustrated because you can't pull a trick. And you think about Oprah Winfrey, you're going to be so much more
He
frustrated at her because
gets a trick.
Everyone gets a trick.
I pictured her in my head just doing the
California.
hands up thing. Yeah.
She caused the fires in California.
Is there a hot take on the Palisades fire?
Dude, I don't know, man. It's Morgan and I talk about this stuff a lot. That after the old
there's a lot of stuff that doesn't add
up. Nothing adds up anymore.
Yeah.
I don't trust anything.
Yep.
And the only thing I can trust.
I won't stake my life on anything, but I will say this: there's a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And typically, when a lot of things don't make sense, it means something else is happening. They're saying, "Look at this," but something's happening over there. Yeah. That's usually what it means.
All I'm saying is that I saw an outline map of a lot of the burn areas, and the majority of those homes that got burned, they were vaccinated. I'm serious. I saw it. I saw it on Reddit, dude.
I just like how it's a forest fire, but the trees are all still there.
How does that happen?
That's interesting.
But I haven't looked into this. Did the blue roof theory from Maui? Is that I did see the blue. There was a blue Volkswagen bus, like a.
That was still standing.
It was still standing. It was untouched.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen the video where it's like the colors of just shit on a table, and then they have the laser that burns every other color besides blue, and it seems like it's not fake. I don't know.
It just sucks because these fires ruin like fire and firing for people like me. They just enjoy fires. Like I love a backyard fire. Now they're giving fire a bad name.
Yeah,
like, fire should not be a negative.
But you're
fire
really
not bad,
you're still
fire
really
good.
good at getting fired.
I do get fired a lot. I do get fired a lot. I've been fired, and it's not the end of me being fired.
When's the last time you got fired?
I had an episode. I don't know if I could talk about it, but last year at this time it wasn't that much long. No, it was right around this time. You know what? I'm talking about it. Screw it. I've been doing this a long time, Robert. a long time.
Hey, Zachary.
And if you're an outsider saying, Mr. Yankush, we would like your voice. We will pay you money for your voice. As an outsider, I'm going to be like, all right, give me a contract. Tell me the date, but I want a contract. You're not going to get my time. I'm not going to announce your event without a contract. I was approached by a man in Las Vegas. I had just moved to Colorado a couple months ago, but I'd lived in Vegas for 5 years. I know the BMX scene in Vegas. I'd heard this guy's name a couple times. He was like, we want you. We're putting on a flatland contest. We want you to announce the flatland contest. I was like, okay, I would love to meet with you sometime. I was out of the state at the time, and I was like, actually, we're doing shows in Vegas. Come out to the show. I can meet you. You can listen to me announce. You can see if I'm your guy. So he's like, cool. Comes to the show, listens to me announce. We sit, we agree on a price, shake his hand, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be there. The contest is like 4 months. I was like, I'll take care of my flights. You have I live there, so you don't have to put me up anywhere. So didn't get a contract. 4 months go by. Every single time he posted something on Instagram, I reposted it. I gave him every indication that I was coming to this event.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see you guys at this event. Everybody show up.
Yeah.
You know. The day before the competition or the day before the contest, I have a problem with my flights. So I miss a flight, so I'm gonna have to fly in early the next morning. So I called this guy. I'm like, hey, that night, I'm like, bro, I screwed up my flights. I'm gonna be there early in the morning. He's like, oh, you're still coming? We already got another announcer. And I'm like, motherfucker, what are you talking about? He's like, oh yeah, I didn't hear from you. And I'm like, bro, you shook my hand. You told me at least 10 times I've reposted your Instagram saying about this BMX contest. And he's like, I don't know. I'm like, hold on. So I called Terry Adams, like, because Terry had put me in contact with this guy to do this. I'm like, bro, what's going on? Terry's like, I don't know. He's freaking out. He said, you're freaking out. What's happening? I'm like, he told me he needed me to announce this contest, and he was going to pay me X amount of dollars, and now he's telling me that that's not the case, and I'm in Seattle right now on my way flying to Vegas. What's going on? So then they get on FaceTime, and I'm like, bro, what is this? And normally I don't get this way, but he's lying to me. So I'm like, motherfucker, what are you talking about? You promised me this, blah, blah, blah. So he walks away, and Terry's like, so what are you going to do? I was like, I'm fucking coming tomorrow. I'm announcing that contest. I don't know what he thinks is happening. I'm coming. Even if he doesn't pay me, I'm announcing that contest. He's like, really? I was like, yeah. So I fucking went to Vegas and announced that contest. Didn't even talk to the guy. Announced the contest for free like a professional. I might fight him this year, though.
This is the weirdest I got fired story I've ever heard.
Yeah.
It sounds like you never got hired.
I shook his hand.
And he still did it.
There was a handshake. Yeah, because you know what? Nobody's going to fire me. Nobody's going to fire me. I will show up.
There's some people that'll fire you.
I will show up and make the fries. You're not going to fire me.
X Games due tour.
Or all of them. All of them.
Did you get fired by X Games in due tour?
I didn't get rehired by X Games.
Simple session.
We can talk about all this if you want. My girlfriend told me
that's a thing. Like it's been Catfish announcing stopped a little while ago.
I've done a lot of stuff. The Dew Tour thing happened because I was riding for Monster, and I would wear a Monster hat everywhere contractually.
Yeah.
And Dew Tour would get mad, like, no, you can't wear this hat. And I'm like, you're paying me to announce the contest. You're not paying me to wear your merch.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want? Simple.
That's the whole point of Monster paying you.
Put it in the contract. I still should have just showed up and announced anyways.
Yeah.
And the X Games, that's a whole other. The X Games is a whole other ball of wax.
What is it?
Well, Morgan brought it up. I don't know if you want to get into it. I mean, it was just.
It might have had something to do with Sal Masekela.
No, that wasn't X Games. That wasn't
X Games?
No, that was me getting fired from Nike 6.0. That was a good one. That was kind of Adam 22's fault. That one stemmed from
I lose
just
track, sorry.
me, because anybody that knows me knows I'm like a BMX purist, and I hate seeing BMX represented in the wrong way. And Sal was just announcing, calling tricks wrong,
Like with spinner wheels and stuff like that.
crazy stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I can see it.
And
we're gonna get to it.
so I just made a comment on Instagram or on Twitter, like, do you ride? What's your relevance to BMX? And that just started a huge thing. I was in China at the time, and then and I understand that Losi, they saw it because Sal worked for Quicksilver or something. He had some ties to Quicksilver, and Nike had some ties to Quicksilver. So like, we gotta let you go.
Off of a tweet, you got
Off a
canceled.
tweet, yeah.
Sheesh.
Yeah, I did get
Have you
canceled.
ever seen him go off on social media?
Yeah,
I haven't
yeah.
done it in a long time.
Yeah, those are the good old days.
See,
dude.
but everybody
It's a
that
little
gets
different.
it, everybody
Yeah.
back in the day.
He's
That
loud.
was like a
No,
soft
and
It
I
was the
won't
Wild
get
Wild
into
West.
it, but I mean, it was just
need
it
to
was
get
just
into
two.
that
No, it
stuff.
was just two
I'm just
people
busting your
arguing.
balls,
It was,
dude.
you brought it up.
I'm
Yeah.
busting your balls.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I have no secrets.
He's the most successful announcer in BMX.
I can talk
He
about
tells the
this.
kids that
I
every
can
day.
talk about this.
Yeah,
I can. It's. I mean, it
I
is
like
what
it.
it is. And the X Games thing that stemmed from Hoffman. I came back from the Nike pool contest where it was one of the best run contests on earth. Shout out to Akeem. Shout out to Losi. Anybody that was involved in that, because that contest, where if you guys don't know, look up the
empty
Nike pool
swimming pool,
contest. Yeah,
so
it was an empty
sick, dude.
swimming pool. And but everybody involved in that was a diehard BMXer, from the builders to the judges to the announcers to all the camera guys. And I was just so inspired when I came back from that contest, where I was like, because at the time there was only one governing body of BMX, that was the HSA, that was Hoffman's, and that kind of was in charge of all the BMX contests. They wanted to be,
kosher.
cool, yeah. And I just started tweeting. I'm like, why don't we have anything in the United States to help push BMX? And Matt and I got in a big argument.
I remember this.
In the tweets, Matt said next time he sees me, he's gonna beat me up, and then that's one of the reasons that I didn't get rehired at the X Games, was me getting in a fight with one of the guys that invented the X Games.
When you put it that way, it's pretty funny,
So,
dude.
but looking back on it,
What year was this?
this is probably 2010, 11, 2012.
This is when I
And-
first met you, and this
and-
is when this was
Yeah,
all going
and
on.
looking back on it,
Like, he got in a fight with like the most diehard core BMXer.
Yeah,
on the
I'm kind of a core
right.
On the
BMXer. I got in a
planet.
fight
Right,
with Matt.
and but again, looking back on it, and absolutely no disrespect to Hoffman at all, he's an absolute legend. BMX would be 500 years in the past if it wasn't for him. But looking back on it, I don't regret anything that I said, because everything I said came from the heart. And to this day, I still don't think the United States has a great representation collectively of all the talented riders in the United States. Like, things have changed a lot with the Olympics and how everything is run, where you have federations for riders that are riding competitively in park contests. But think about how many other sports there are where there's governing organizations, not even sanctioned competitions, but just organizations that look out for them. Take something like pickleball.
Yeah.
Something like that, where I'm sure there are governed organizations, clubs, if you will.
Yeah,
And
I've seen 'em.
And that was one of my big pushes with Matt in that. And I kind of took it out on him. It shouldn't have been. I could be just as much to blame as Matt.
I'll say
and
this.
this is a long time ago.
That-
Keep this again. And again, no disrespect to him.
I'm not,
But-
not even going into the Hoffman issue, but like, I'll say this, like that, like what you just said about there being like a governing whatever, to like, that kind of goes in the face of what the core of BMX is. It's like you're able to
Grassroots,
do whatever the heck you
Yeah,
want.
for sure.
You do it. You're like, I remember one time, Matt told me that like when he was in high school, he rode BMX to get away from the cool kids because he could do whatever he wanted. It was his world, and the one thing that he didn't want to happen was that start happening. Unfortunately, was the cool kids took over the sport, and now you have all these cliques and cool kid groups and this, and you're not cool unless you look this way or
Right.
ride that way or you do this trick or that trick. And he was like, that's the exact opposite of why I started riding in the first place. I wanted to get away from that. I don't want the cool kids to be in charge. If you're riding, you should be in charge of your riding.
Yeah, I like
Period.
that.
It shouldn't matter what anyone else thinks.
Yeah.
And it's like, when it feels like the cool kid dudes from high school are taking over the sport, that kind of goes in the face of the whole point of it to begin with, right?
So what's the happy medium between those two thoughts? Like, we need more good
it's-
contests like Nike Pool.
There's always going to be the two ends of the spectrum, right? You've got the core dudes that do it for the purity of the sport and what it is, and because you love it, and then you've got the contest dudes that make a living at it.
Yeah.
And usually the core dudes are pretty bitter towards the contest dudes
Yeah.
because they're able to make a living at it because these dudes have to have a real job too. And you end up with some kind of weird bitterment stuff going on. And then these dudes, they look up to these dudes because these dudes are doing cool stuff.
Yep.
And they don't, and it's kind of like there's not really a perfect answer to it.
Right.
Yeah, I would say
Get in where you fit in and
Yeah.
enjoy it. Have a good
I
time.
would say
more
like,
Nike
on
pools.
the
Uplift your
surface.
friends.
Yeah.
Like if you see someone riding a bike, back in the day, if you saw a kid riding down the street,
Yeah, you're gonna
you
go
were
get 'em.
bros.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's on a bike. That's my dude. I
Yeah.
don't care what it looks like. I don't care what shoes he's got on.
Nowadays, it's
I
a
don't
fentanyl
care
addict,
what
but
brand
you know.
bike he's riding. And like, it's cool, right? Just
Yes.
because you're into the same sport.
Instant buzz.
I think the happy medium
And
on the
that-
surface between the core and the hardcore is something like Swamp Fest or something like Roots Jam or
Yes.
something like
Yeah.
where that's an event that brings everybody together.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of what I was talking about when with the argument with Matt,
Metro
where it was
jams,
like
backyard
it wasn't
jams, all
so
that.
much the competition aspect of it. It was just something for
CF
everyone.
CFBs
Like
were like that back in the day too.
yeah, but it was like look at the grand scale of organizations. That it wasn't really an organization. It was just kind of like April in an office.
Are you talking
Whereas
about HSA?
The HSA, yeah.
Oh, I was just talking about the CFB, the contest.
Okay,
event.
well, I mean,
Like,
yeah,
that was
those,
like-
that's
that
a
was
vibe,
core event,
yeah.
But it was also like you had all the top pros, the pro dudes there, and also you had the core dudes, and it was
Yeah.
like a good mix. Like, so I wasn't really talking about the HSA.
Oh yeah,
Swamp
Hoffman-
Fest.
yeah,
Hoffman-
Swamp Fest is like
Hoffman just wanted to keep. He just wanted to keep the sport, the control of it, in the rider's hands, and not have somebody telling you that you have to do it
this way,
tweak
that
the
way.
rules
Yeah.
this way and that way, and there has to be some give take if you want the sport to grow exponentially, like it has with the Olympics. You're gonna lose some of that.
yeah,
soul.
for sure.
Yeah.
You're
for sure.
gonna lose some,
and
of
you
that
have to be
soul.
aware of that
And
as well,
For Matt, that was like his soul,
right?
and it still is. Like that.
What a
dude-
historical
that dude
Twitter beef,
lives,
dude.
breathes,
Yeah,
and
right.
bleeds
And
BMX.
again, I get it because Matt was in a position where
it's a catch-22.
he's brought BMX up to this point, and then he's like, it's your baby. You don't want somebody else to mess up your baby.
Yeah.
And I get that, but that's why it was like when I got back from the pool jam, I was just overwhelmed with there's so much that can be done in BMX that isn't being done.
Yeah.
As far as everything from representing riders to events to just cultivating the sport, like jams or,
Street Fighter Jam #7. I mean, the Mediocre at Best 2 premiere on March 22nd,
I'll be there.
2025.
I'll be there.
Will you?
I won't be there. No,
Swamp
I'll
Fest
be
is
there.
like 2 weeks before it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll be in the mud.
Be in the mud.
Yeah.
I hope that a bunch of guys like on their way back from Swamp Fest, swing by.
Yeah, it should be
Swing,
good.
swing.
I
Swing,
think the word on the street, I talked to Trey the other day, but I forgot to ask him about the fireworks. I don't think there are going to be a lot of fireworks this year, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Dude, they look
Did you see that
deadly.
post? Did you see that post Trey posted the other day
Uh-uh.
where he walked into his backyard and there was an alligator?
Oh, yeah.
An alligator in the little bowl.
Florida
I
things.
was like, this is the best thing ever.
Yeah.
This is so good.
Trey is the ultimate
Yeah.
Florida man.
Trey is the best. Morgan, have you ever gotten in a Twitter beef?
A Twitter beef? Yeah. Oh yeah.
Tell me about one.
There's a specific rider that, for some reason,
Oh, I got to pee. You talk. I already. Hold on. This is good. Oh, you are going to love this. Like, yeah, I'm going to go downstairs.
for some reason, like he had become, for the most part, irrelevant in the sport, and he just wanted to kind of be in the limelight again. So he started beef with a bunch of different people online.
Started yapping at you? What did he say? Morgan Wade is soft. God is not real.
No, nothing like that. Nothing like that. It was literally, it just had to do with like tricks and.
Super whips are gay. What did he say, dude?
I'm not trying to reignite anything, so I don't want to get too deep into it. But yeah, it was just like. it was
Catfish,
just-
he's
it
not
was-
getting into it.
It was just weird. It's because I don't like.
You didn't
this.
name him.
Heck no, I didn't name. And I don't need to. It's okay. Like
He
I,
named names.
but there was literally, it was one of these things where he just basically just out of nowhere just started saying, "Oh hey, remember when you said that trick was impossible? Yeah, well I did it." Like that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, and it was cool when you did it, dude. Like, why is this even why are we even talking about this? Because I had tried this specific trick, but I tried it a different way, and it didn't work for me. So, like, I remember he had said something I wanted to try. I was like, oh, that doesn't work because I didn't try it the same way he did. And then when he did it the way he did it, it was like, oh, that works. Rad.
Do I
And
know
then-
the name? Would I know
Yeah,
it
you know
if you
the
said
name.
it?
And literally, but then he just starts, like, out of nowhere, just starts bringing,
Oh.
bringing all this stuff, bringing all this stuff up. And it's just like, dude, why are you doing? We were on a Bikes Over Baghdad trip when this happened. And then
insane.
literally,
He had a drunks period.
literally
like-
he said, like, if who was the other?
Nate.
Was it Nate? No, it wasn't Nate. It was Darden, I think. Was it Darden? No, Darden was on that trip. I don't remember. But there was one of the. Oh, Alistair Witten. It was Alistair.
Oh,
And
yeah.
He's tripping at Alistair too.
Me and Alistair for some reason, and he's
What was
just
he
like,
doing
if
all this
either of
tripping?
you does this trick that neither of us had done, he goes,
Quad
within a
whip,
month,
1080?
I'll donate however much money to whatever charity.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, and I was
ARF.
like, I'll send it, dude.
Was
Like,
it one of
whatever.
the two tricks?
Huh?
Was it one of the two
No,
tricks that he was
no.
famous for?
Oh well, yeah, but yeah, but literally, it
Which
was
one
of
were
those
you
things
trying,
where,
the
like,
quad
you
or the
just
1080?
Got him.
1080. But like, I literally did a 720 at the under the bra in Qatar.
Qatar, yeah.
No, Qatar. And I had to open up like for both rotations, and I was like, yo, I bet I could do it right now on this thing, but then I didn't do it. But it's fine, whatever.
But you were feeling it. It's within reason.
Yeah, that was that's
And
that
it wasn't
that
even
beef.
that much. It wasn't even like, I wouldn't even say it was that much of beef. It was just awkward. It was like, bro, why
Yeah, that beef
We're
was
talking
way
about-
better than any of my Twitter beefs because we're all watching
they trying to
Twitter
reignite
and they're
this?
coming in and we're all in the bus. We're like, oh god, no way, because it was so crazy. Because he's such a calm, collected dude. Where it was just
It was weird.
he does live in Miami. You know what goes on in Miami.
Yep.
It was weird. But
He wasn't himself. He wasn't acting himself.
I don't really. I don't.
Well,
hold
if you
that,
guys
like,
at home know
I don't
who it
hard
is,
feelings
you know,
towards
all
anybody or
respect.
anything. It was
Drop
just
it in the
weird.
comments.
It was just weird. Whatever.
I think everybody can figure it out by now. Oh man,
I love it. I love talking about beefs.
we got Joey Mata just sitting in his car outside of our house.
Shout out to Joe Mata.
Yeah, I have been asking him to do this podcast for 5 years, and this is the
It'll be a
closest he's ever
good
been,
one.
dude.
He's in the car, second guessing himself.
I think that was pretty good, boys.
That was
Hour and a
fun.
half.
That was
part
fun.
2.
We did it.
Yeah, dude.
We did it.
Is there anything that you thought that we would talk about that we didn't? An hour and a half has gone by.
I didn't know that this was happening until we were leaving the spot.
Yeah,
earlier,
me
so I
neither.
was just
Yeah,
like,
me
oh,
neither.
we're-
Bob,
Okay, yeah,
Bobby
let's
was
do it.
like,
Why
"Hey, you
not?
guys want to do a podcast?"
I should
Yeah.
probably like do more planning with this shit.
I like-
Yeah.
No, it's better like this because
Yeah.
the conversation just goes anywhere.
Yeah, and we
That's
did
better.
good. There was no racial slurs. We did a really good job in this one. This is good.
We were talking about that earlier. It's no longer like edgelord to support our president.
Yeah, you can. We can do whatever we want
can
now.
say, "Hey, I
we can
like
do
Trump."
whatever we want now.
Well, it's cool now.
Your
cool.
body, our choice.
You were day one though. Oh,
Well, we'll see. I mean, there's the world is a really wild place, and that's the thing.
really
I mean,
scary, and
like
I'm skeptical.
talking
I'm
again,
watching.
and not to drag things on, but Morgan and I talk about this stuff a lot. Where it's like we've been fooled so many times, and we've been lied to so many times by people that we've trusted. How can you expect again what I was talking about at the beginning? When somebody disrespects you or they lie to you one time, why would you Why
Yeah.
would you stay in that relationship? Unfortunately, we live here, so
Not
we're
to
stuck in
mention-
this
Not to
relationship.
mention, how can you trust anything you see when AI is literally at the point where like
yeah, that's true.
stuff
Deepfakes
looks
pretty.
legit on a, and it's
Yeah.
like how do you even know that's even
Yeah,
real?
exactly.
So like you got
Dude.
all this stuff weird like the laser thing. It's
Yeah.
like okay, you see these videos like brah, there's a laser. Is it
Yeah.
real? I don't
Exactly.
know. You can't trust that either.
Yeah.
I mean,
And they can take an
like, and
existing
there's-
speech and
there's
put new words
people
into it.
will be like, oh hey, let's make this. This will be funny because everyone will fall for it. And it's like
You know, there's people
there's
out there.
so many people that just make stuff because they just want.
The world to burn.
They just wanna- it's not about the money.
Yeah,
It's sending a
exactly.
message. But so you don't even know what to believe anymore.
It's
with most
I watched a
things.
pig making lasagna 2 nights ago for like an hour, and then I realized it wasn't real. I wanted to know.
Fuck.
They can't stand up. They can't stand up.
How
like
could
that.
this pig possibly be making
Because he
this
was standing
lasagna?
up and not putting his hooves on the stove. I'm
It
sorry.
is what it is. No, but
Yeah.
like I am
It was probably a wild boar too, wasn't
It
it?
might have been.
wild boar with
Well,
them.
supposed to be here.
You were late to dinner. There it is. Dude, that is the sharpest knife in North America. Literally, it is the sharpest knife in
That's
North
a beaut.
America.
I mean, see how we're doing.
Don't cut yourself. Oh, he's gonna shave his legs.
Nice. Wow.
Wait. You see the hairs popping?
I smell lasagna.
Yeah.
That was so fucking unsanitary. It's probably in my eyelashes. I got.
Leg hair in your
I'm gonna
eye,
get
maybe.
staph in my eye.
I want to like ask what it's like on Hoffman, but we should just end on that. Dude, he just shaved his leg and blew it on Catfish.
Yeah, watch out. He's gonna fire you
That's
soon.
good.
Nah, I think I'm okay.
Yeah. No, shout out to Hoffman. We're friends. now. We've
I'm
we've
okay
made
in that
up.
department.
Yeah. Yeah, he does have a frame. It's very rare in 2025 to have ride your bike with your name on the frame that you didn't put on there.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's
Congratulations.
an honor. Thanks.
Yeah.
He deserves it for sure.
And you got a clip in Mediocre at Best too.
Ooh, that's right. I did too.
Yeah,
I
let's go.
ABD'd Morgan.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. All right.
March 22nd. Be there.